This is a historic day in the women's game.
Great morning to talk about women's sport. We just talked about the draft and the PWHL. Now we're going to focus for the next few minutes on women's professional soccer.
I'm very grateful that there is a league starting for women in Canada.
For like 6-year-olds to be like, oh my gosh, I can play professional soccer in Canada.
Rugby has been growing over the years so much.
We have incredible teams and incredible national teams that do amazing things.
Like I said, it's a new league, but the aspirations are huge. Women's pro sport is so new.
Toronto, welcome to the W.
First ever PWHL hockey game in Vancouver, a sold-out crowd welcomed the best in women's hockey.
It's so cool to see the women's game finally get the attention that they deserve.
Well, I think it's the biggest day in the history of women's hockey, I really do.
Never thought I'd see it in my lifetime, and I did, and thank goodness.
We need to go and be us and be the best version of us so far this season.
At no point did I ever think that I would have the option of coaching professional soccer in Canada.
There's so many women in this game that have been phenomenal at blazing a trail for these young girls.
Every single year, women in sport continue to rise. There's no end to it.
I think it's just looking outside the box and bigger picture, not just tunnel vision on, oh, it's pretty good right now. Well, it is, but let's keep looking, let's keep getting better, let's keep growing, right? It's getting there, but it's not there.
I love the acknowledgement of women in sports. I think it's so important just for all the younger athletes to see what they can do. I think we're lucky as women in Canada because we have such a strong national team to look up to.
Rugby has been growing over the years so much, especially for women's rugby. Like, it has grown so much. Like, Canada just won 15s last year.
We've come a long way as a country, but there's no professional women's team in Canada, so I would love to see them develop a pro team here, and I think we're on the right path. It's always growing, and it's awesome.
There's been like a spike. I feel like in Canada, like, soccer has become super big for women.
When I was a player, there was no semi-professional, there was no professional league to aspire to in Canada.
I definitely noticed as I was growing up, like, there would become more and more leagues available. For example, when I was younger, I would play on my brother's team because there wasn't a team that, like, I would fit into. But like now, those options are available. There's OPDL, there's League 1, League 2, there's U20, there's so many different opportunities for people to be able to, like, especially women, to be able to explore that.
Canada's kicking off their first ever women's professional league, and it's kicking off in 2 months, 3 months. And I think it's incredibly exciting.
When I was growing up, we only knew the famous men's players. So I think it's a beautiful thing to see that these kids are able to look up to some women in their sports.
Fast forward to where we are now, it's incredible how far we've come. Obviously, also saying there's still a long ways to go, but I think it's important to credit the progression that we've made. Honest to God, so since I was a player, you know, that's like 50 years ago. It's unbelievable.
Within the last kind of like 5 years, the girls' like minor programs have really been elevated in a different way.
I didn't really start playing hockey, organized hockey, until I was about 12. My family, they didn't think it was normal for girls to be playing hockey. And there was a team that I signed up with my brother, and they wouldn't allow me to because I was a girl.
Originally, I started playing ringette when I was younger because I didn't want to play with my brother. So now when I do go home and I see that there are girls teams for all the young ones, it's pretty cool.
Girls that are coming up through minor hockey right now are coming up at the perfect time because, you know, as the professional side grows, there's going to be more teams that come around and there's going to be lots of room for them.
Like, the opportunity is immense, and it's just not for players, but it's for officials, it's for medical staff and trainers and stats and analytics and equipment people, and like, there's so much, and it's just so cool and so wonderful.
I think it's only up from here. I think there's no limit on where it can go. There's not a single person in the world that can't see that this is really special, so I think there's no stopping it at all.
I would say
at times difficult, but very, very rewarding.
It's difficult because of opportunity. It's always people second guessing you. It's always people doubting you.
I think one of the challenges is just always needing to prove ourselves. There's always a push here for the women's team to be able to fight for their spot.
If they don't believe in me, then I don't believe in myself sometimes.
The biggest thing is always seeing the equity piece not being there. And no matter what coaching position I have been in, there's always been that challenge of, hey, this isn't right, and always having to fight.
Played on teams where the women's team in this club is put down, they are put to the side, they aren't cared about. There's times when we on club teams have been given like all of the flat balls in training, and you're given the minimum, but it's just little things that make it harder to succeed.
So it gets really quite fatiguing where you're constantly trying to battle for something that in my mind should just be a norm and should be in place already.
So it's tough. You have to fight battles and you have to fight for what you believe your team deserves. But I also think it's incredibly rewarding because there are times when you aren't given the same resources as other teams and you succeed more.
I think it's just always those hurdles and like, I got by, I got by, I got by.
We've created an insane amount of resilience in push, and I think for me that will follow everywhere in my job, in my future as a person.
You're going to learn resilience and grit. All of those things are really important things to learn in life. And what a better way to learn it through sport, and in a sport you love and you're having fun with, and you have an instant group of family that you're leaving family but coming into an instant family here, right? It's amazing.
It's been incredible to see the community at Brock, truly, especially the women's community.
We are very fortunate to have as many women coaches as we do. And like I said, I think it's quite rare, like our executive director of Brock Sports and Recreation and our associate director of Brock Sports are both women. We have women's basketball, female head coach, women's hockey, female head coach. Rowing, I'm not even gonna say women's rowing. Rowing has a female head coach and a female associate head coach.
I don't think that you get that a lot anywhere else. And we kind of all just rally together and we're here for each other. And
the community that we have, just I think one of the best that I've ever been in terms of direct colleagues. And I think when the players get to see us collaborating with each other too, it just creates an environment where they want to do it as well.
Us being student athletes, we're such a small cohort here at Brock, and it's a unique ability to be a varsity athlete.
Specifically women who have gone through what you've gone through, which isn't necessarily these big challenges, but just being a woman in sport is a challenge in itself sometimes.
We've all kind of had like some shared events, like one canon event that's kind of led us to this area, whether that's playing on a boys team when we were younger because we needed to play up but there wasn't that team available. We can obviously find those connections really quickly and understand what we're going through.
We all support each other, and I've never seen that before. We go to each other's sports because we know how hard it is to play a game and not have people come watch you because you're a women's team.
Like, those little efforts make so much impact on such a small community of Brock sports. Like, it was amazing.
Supporting each other is the best way to kind of get out there, make some friends, and really just hone in that we are special here on campus. And I think there's so many amazing athletes here that go beyond their careers at Brock and do fantastic things. Everyone's so talented, and I think it's fascinating every single time that I go support another team.
It's honestly been beautiful to see it. It's like a heartwarming moment. We have so many teams come support us. The women's basketball team comes to our games, women's volleyball, rugby. It really creates bonds and supports the teams, understanding that, you know, we're there for you and we know where you're at. I think it helps us to be better players and to just be better people, honestly.
Constant reminder that, you know, you belong here. Constant reminder that we can do just the same that the boys can. It might look a little different, but, you know, we're just as tough, we're just as mean. You know, we're strong, we're capable, and we're pretty badass. So I think that it's a really special feeling to, be one of very many women in sport that are every day trying to prove someone wrong and blaze a trail for the ones coming up behind us.